Hey guys, my name is Ethan, this is Carberra. Welcome to series where I teach you how to code in Python. Today we are talking about if statements. So this is kind of the start of your logical programming in a way. So if statements are pretty much as you could probably guess. They query something, so if this is this, or if this less than this, or whatever. And then it does else if or else. And it will keep going through that until obviously it hits an else. And it essentially is just logical branching for your code. So the easiest way to demonstrate this is with numbers. So we can have a number equals 5. And if you say if num is less than 10, print less than 10. Else print more than 10. So if you run that, we'll say it's less than 10 because 5 is less than 10. If you change this number up here to 12, it'll say more than 10 because 12 is more than 10. So this is probably helping you make a little bit more sense of some of those logical operators that I was telling you about in episode number 3. I didn't realize until I started that how difficult it was to describe them without doing them in if statements, but I wanted to cover other stuff first so you had the main basics of everything before tackling logical stuff so we could just kind of work with it. So that is pretty much a basic if and else. You can, of course, do... so if you change the number 25, you can have other more complicated things. So if number is less than 50, print less than 50. Elif num is less than 40, print less than 40. I'm kind of regretting going all the way up to 50 with this, but we're going to persevere. So that needs to be indented and that needs to be unindented as well. 30 and then 20. And then we'll have a final 10 as well, and then we'll have less than 0. Because I made this example way too long. Less than 10. And else print negative. Because it's going to be negative at that point. I'd be... Actually, there isn't really an else here, is there? No, we'll just have... Oh no, elif num equals 0 then, I suppose. We'll just have the less than 0. So this is obviously a more complicated example using the elif. Now the elif is like an else if, except you don't define it as an else if in Python. Apparently Sublime seems to think it's okay in terms of its highlighting, but this won't work. It is genuinely an elif. It's one word. And what this will do is it will check first if number is less than 50. If it is less than 50, then it will... I just realised it probably should be more than, shouldn't it? For all these, yeah. We'll just check. We'll just leave the text the same because I can do quick operations. There we go. The power of IDs. Woo. So now we're checking if it's more than 50, which is the correct logical chain. Then it will print it's more than 50, else if it's more than 40, it will print more than 40, else if it's more than 30, etc., etc. So it will say more than 20, but it's not more than 30 because I keep losing my damn mouse. There we go. Because this check failed because 25 is less than 50. This check failed because it's not more than 40. This check failed because it's not more than 30. This check succeeded because it is more than 20. So it printed more than 20 and it didn't do anything else. We could start another if here and it would print more than 10, but because we did an elif, it won't actually do that. So that is pretty much the basics of if statements. However, I will show off one more thing. Less to do with anything fancy for if statements and more to do with some more of the logical operators we were talking about. Print false. And then with this one we'll print true. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a compound statement. So if num equals 50, and actually, you could say valid equals true, for example, just as a random tester there. So we can say if num is greater than 50 and valid, print true, else print false. So if you print this, it will print false because it's not greater than 50. If you do this, it will say true because both of these statements are now correct. So it's more than 50 and it's valid. However, if you do false here, it will say false because obviously it's not true. If you do or again, it will print true because one of these things is true. If we change that to 23, it will print false again. If you change valid to true, it will print true again. Note that it does these things in a specific order unless you use brackets to kind of make sure that it goes in an order. So what I mean by that is it will check that num is greater than 50 first. If that is true, it will just ignore the rest of the statement and continue on. If that's false, it will keep going and say, oh, there's something else here. And it will check if valid is true. And it's like, oh, it's true, so print true. I believe you have an and here. If this is false, it will just move on and it won't bother checking valid. I don't know about that though. I could be wrong. It might try and like resolve this and then just say and true. But you can obviously do stuff like if these two are true and then or true. So even if both of these are false, then it will whoopsie daisies, then it will ring true. If we get rid of this, I believe it will print false. Oh no, it prints true. Okay, so if I do true or, I'm just trying to kind of mess around with this, see if I can get it to do something funky. Oh, it does true as well. So yeah, it's obviously doing it. I believe it checks ands first, then ors. I mean, you can experiment with this stuff yourself in more complicated if statements or whatever, should you want to. But that is the basics, and I don't think there's any need in complicating it anymore. I was just trying to show off some of the things you can do in if statements and stuff. Yeah, if you have any questions about this, then feel free to leave them in the comments, or you can join the Discord server. Use a link in the description. While you're down there, I have all my socials, so Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, all that stuff. You know all this by now. But yeah, I'm going to end the video here. If you liked it, then say hello down below. If you really liked it, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads. And if you really, really liked it, then consider supporting me on Patreon. Of course, you don't have to. A really cool thing for you to do. With that in mind, I'd like to thank the patrons that are currently supporting me. And I will see you next time when we talk about while and for loops. So these are a little more complicated than just standard if statements. So I'll see you for that.